All right, joined by Director of Cross Country and Track and Field, Travis Floeck. Travis, first of all, welcome to campus. Been here a few weeks now. What would you kind of say is the overall perspective of the program here in your first few weeks?
Obviously, the first few weeks you're taking a lot of different aspects in and just trying to figure some different things out. But I mean, for me personally, it's just a lot of excitement. I think one of the biggest things is just as the student athletes started to come back to campus and getting to know them. That's really what's been the most rewarding aspect is that, you get to see the quality of people they are. And I think this team is full of incredible individuals. And there's just a lot of excitement around the whole program. Definitely a lot of changes and you have to navigate some of that. But I think it's just been a lot of positive energy and then just getting to spend some more time in Grand Junction and here on campus. I mean, I've really been blown away by the Colorado Mesa University campus and just all as students came back, like the different events happening downtown, like people riding mechanical bulls and just, it's just, there's a lot that I'm really impressed by with the university. And obviously it's pretty apparent why all the growth is happening at this university. And then, yeah, it's been a really enjoyable time too, just to go around on campus and meet different entities on campus and get to know people and see the resources that are here. Yeah, so it's been a whirlwind, but really valuable and just again, really rewarding.
This week, you kind of get going for real. The first meet for the cross country team. Would you give us kind of a rundown on how the preseason camp is gone and kind of what you're looking for out of Saturday's race?
Yeah, I think it's gone really well. Again, when you first show up and you're a brand new coach, you have to learn a lot, and then also on the other side of that, the student athletes are learning a lot about you and how you operate and what your expectations are. And I think fortunately the team has been incredibly receptive, and I've been super impressed by their work ethic and just again who they are as people. And so yeah, I think from a training standpoint, it's gone really well. I definitely think we have improved our fitness and leveled up in a lot of different ways in the last few weeks. And I was, sometimes there's some other teams that got going a couple weeks ago, but I really have liked that we are opening up just a little bit later, just to have more time with them before we step out onto a course and compete. But yeah, we will probably be holding out just a few women that'll eventually join the lineup here in the upcoming weeks. But I think we're competing 17 men, somewhere around there. So definitely a full men's squad. And, you're always learning, like I said, but this will be another opportunity just to see them go out and how we approach the situation with the race and how we get in there and compete. That's going to be another really valuable time to just see how we can march forward with the rest of the season. But I have a lot of confidence in them with the way that they're prepared and who they are. And it's just going to be a lot of fun to see them compete like that.
You're no stranger to altitude, being in Idaho and around the Rocky Mountain region in general, but kind of a whole nother level up in Gunnison, 7,800 feet. What kind of message you give to your athletes? A lot of them have run there before, of course, but for those kind of new to that, how do you either hide or just be honest with them and what it's going to feel like?
Yeah, I mean, you can't really hide it. They're all going to be aware of it. I think the biggest thing there is just I've seen different ways that you can approach that. I think if we go into it and we think that's going to be a ridiculous challenge or we hype it up too much, that's when you can get into a little bit of trouble. The reality is even the Western Colorado athletes are, they might live at that elevation, but it's still challenging for them to run at that elevation. So if you manage your race correctly and you're engaged and you compete at a high level, the team will be successful. And so I actually saw a coaching colleague of mine just won a big football game at Idaho, and they were talking about the altitude of Wyoming, and he responded at the end of the game. He said altitude, schmaltitude. And so I think that's kind of the way we'll approach it. Like we will identify it, address it, and race smart, but it's not going to be anything we have to be overly concerned about.
So you come in, you're basically meeting the kids as they come back to campus and all. I mean, obviously you got the name tags out now, you know everybody by name and all, but I mean, how do you kind of judge those first couple of weeks? Is it just total blank slate and let's see what I've got, and then obviously you can build from there?
Yeah, I mean, I think body language, attitude, just getting to shake someone's hand and look them in the eye. I mean, that can tell you so much about, maybe who the person is, but just kind of how they're where they're at emotionally and mentally with all the different changes. And then just seeing them kind of, even the track and field side, with cross country, we've been going for a number of weeks now, but the track and field athletes, they started practice last week, and I've just been going to those different event group, with between the throwers, the sprinters, the jumpers, multis, and watching their practices and just seeing, how they're approaching it all and just the energy they're bringing. Yeah, you're always taking a lot in, but I think it's just, and then the other aspect that's been also really important, probably the most critical piece as take over the program here, is just completing our staff. And I'm really just so incredibly excited about that piece as well. I think that went as smoothly as possible. One with the retention of Tim Reitz, and now elevating him to associate head track and field coach title. The success the sprints group has had just speaks for itself, and he's a phenomenal coach. And then Coach Jay Schumann was working with the throwers last year as a graduate assistant, and have hired him on full time. And the throwers in the spring we're doing amazing. And so we're keeping that momentum, and Jay brings a lot to the table. And then the hiring of Hannah Meek, who honestly, I think it might even have been like on my interview here, I heard about her name, and she is coming from UCCS and was an incredible student athlete there, and then has been a graduate assistant coach over there. And so kind of identified her right away, and then to just lock in and get her here, and has been gigantic because she's very dynamic and definitely knows the conference well and how to compete at a super high level. And then just for helping me with the distance runners, Greta Van Kalkar is helping me as a distance coach, and she grew up in the area, ran at Oregon State, and just is doing things I don't even have to ask her to do. Like, she's just knows what she's doing and bringing a lot of energy as well. And then Sam Heim, who was working as like a distance coach as well as staying on as a volunteer. So I think we have this really nice blend of keeping coaches who understand the program, have some roots here at Colorado Mesa, and then bringing in some new blood too. And I honestly think that's gone as well as it could go. And I feel it's kind of like a dream staff of mine to start off my first time as being a director of a program as a head coach. And so now it's just getting all the student athletes in place, the coaches in place, and letting them go cook and go to work and watching it all happen.
And now you just jump right into arguably the top conference in all of Division II in both cross country and track. I mean, it had to be a huge draw to take this job. And now it's like, okay, we're here. Let's go see what we can do.
Yeah, it was, I mean, seeing the resources here, seeing the community of Grand Junction, seeing this university and how it's growing is unbelievable. So there were so many aspects that were super appealing. But then, yeah, the success here that this program has had in an incredibly competitive conference. And I'm kind of no stranger to that. Like, at a mid-major at University of Idaho, the Big Sky was very good, regularly competing against national champions in Northern Arizona. And so kind of stepping into the same situation. But, if we look at the track and field side last year, knocking on the door of winning a conference title, second on both sides. And now it's to keep that momentum going is really one of the big pieces that we want to do, which I think if we look at the roster, there's an amazing amount of talent there. The freshman class looks unbelievable, really. And then it's really on me to have the group that I'm in charge of, the distance runners, for us to score more points and to contend for conference titles and try to go win this spring.
I was hoping to just hear a little bit more. So as like director of track and field, it sounds like then, you have your specialty that you're focusing in, but then you're also, well, with cross country too, you're also having to do the administrative side as well. So how do you find that balance?
Well, it's balance is a good word. Sometimes it doesn't always exist in terms of like, you're just working a lot right now, which is it's totally fine. It's a really exciting time just to be here and putting the time in and so forth. But I would say the balance between those two areas, I was this kind of the first time I've been having this level of responsibility, to kind of be looking at all the different aspects. And I think the key piece there is just trying to be as organized as possible.
Yeah.
And so, it's been really easy. The level of support I've had here from the administration and just different resources on campus. I mean, that's been one of the pieces that's made this go, I think, pretty smooth so far. Even just like I want the whole program, the student athletes, we're not going to lose sight that their number one reason they're here is to be students. And I really want them to excel academically. And so like, even just a couple of weeks ago, I went to the Learning Center on campus here and met with Christine Murphy and Bryce Grant, and they run that resource for all the students on campus. And we've integrated them now with our team, and just, it's actually remarkable the amount of like academic support that's here. And so if you can just like tap into different things like that, I think that's making my job a whole lot easier. And yeah, I mean, I think there was like a little concern like coming in, like, wow, like for myself, just in the sense, like I was coaching an event area that had around 28 to 30 athletes into the distance runners before. And then I stepped through the door and there's like 45 to 46 here. So like, okay, like, can I do what I normally do, which is like actually like send them out like individual plans and like pour a lot of energy into that. But I was like, hey, can I, let's give it a shot. That's my method. That's how I've had success. And even with the extra responsibilities, I've been able to do that. And so I feel really good about being able to coach at a high level and then also lead the whole program.
And then also you had mentioned how kind of having a later start gave more time to just be acclimated. What do you think that gave you, and just how did that help, just connect with the team more to, maybe wait a little bit to start the season?
Yeah. I mean, you're constantly learning about each individual, kind of what makes them tick, what motivates them, like, what they respond to. And that process will continue. And so, part of one message I'm going to talk to them about today is like, hey, I think we've gotten in a really good groove with practice, balancing that with school and everything going on and so forth. But now when you start to travel, you start to compete, that just brings a whole other element that, becomes a different challenge. And I think not rushing to that, it just helped us kind of take on, because they've seen so much change. That's just helped us get into more of a rhythm now with what we're doing, instead of just kind of hitting them all at once and hitting me all at once. So yeah, the extra time is just, and I'm going to learn a lot about them this weekend too. And they're going to learn about me. It's going to be the first time they're seeing me kind of probably even more energized at the end of the race, the last half mile, kind of screaming my head off, so, but yeah, it's just been, I've really enjoyed that time, just because it's allowed me to probably get to know them all a little bit better, even as people, than kind of rushing into the travel and other aspects like that.
Anything else? Question of the week. Oh, great.
Oh, yeah, we like to do questions of the week.
Hardest question you're going to
Okay.
Yep.
Now I'm nervous.
I'm going to go rapid fire with a few different questions. It's going to be this or that. Just give me your answer.
Okay.
First one, cake or pie?
Cake.
Burger or hot dog?
Burger.
Hot or cold?
Hot.
Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix.
And then last one, fly or drive?
Drive. Definitely.
All right, thank you.
Thanks so much. Gosh, my last flight into Grand Junction here.
Oh.